All right. Thank you so much, Will, for joining me and answering a few questions about your Connective Nations session. And I am Jillian Schlager. For anybody who does not know, this is Will Rodriguez, who is one of the hosts of the Skeptic Metaphysicians. And just want to thank you again for taking the time to jump on here and answer a few questions.
I'm happy to do it. Yeah, this has been great. So I'm looking forward to talking to you about it.
Sweet. Thank you. So first, if you wanted to just introduce yourself a little bit for anyone watching.
Sure. Like you said, I'm Will. I am one half of the hosts and the producer of the Skeptic Metaphysicians, which is a show all about the metaphysics and spiritual space. We bill ourselves as Metaphysics 101 because we provide a safe space for people to explore this stuff without having a full-on commitment. If you are curious about the stuff or not sure what to make of it, we look at it from a pragmatic point of view. So it helps for people who aren't bought into all the woo to come and experience it and check it out from a space of how can I help my brain wrap around some of these concepts, basically.
Yeah. And you have such a wide variety of topics that you and Karen, your co-host, go up against and research and really dive into. That's what I said, we talked a few days ago and I said, I've been binge watching your content on YouTube because there's so many you have, and I am really, I've loved things like ghosts and the paranormal since I was a kid, but I am quite skeptical. I have that analytical side to my brain, and that's, I think, why I love the kinetic divination healing modality, because it's hands-on. It's, I think, other than tapping, it's one of the few hands-on healing modalities where you actually get to be a part of your internal healing process.
Yeah, and you nailed it exactly. My thought process is I've always been interested in this stuff, but I need to feel it, I need to touch it, I need to taste it, see it, hear it, everything. It's got to be some way for it to make sense for me.
So I want to dive into what was that like for you? If you maybe could give us some runway of how were you feeling before the session?
Okay, I'll try to be brief because, as you know, I host a radio show, so I can talk. But for the past year and a half, I've been dealing with a diagnosis of prostate cancer. And through the blessing of my show, I've been diving into all different types of modalities that could potentially help. I met with an Ayurvedic diet person. I went into a harmonic egg that does light and sound healing. I had energy healers, Reiki practitioners, intuitive healers, right? They're doing all this kind of stuff. And you know how I mentioned that I was always looking for that palpable touch point that I could see that something was changing or something was making something happen. And though each one of those modalities had something that I walked away with that was really, wow, that was cool kind of thing, intrinsically, I never felt a difference in me. And we met shortly before, and we had our session shortly before I was going in for a follow-up biopsy to make sure that it hadn't spread or anything like that, and see whether we need to do something about it. Up until this point, I was just doing some what they call active surveillance, which is just watch it, make sure my PSA levels don't spike too high or doesn't metastasize or anything like that. We're just watching it and seeing what it does. But if you've ever been diagnosed with the big C, the actor just sitting there and watching it, it's not very palatable, right? You carry with you a sense of anxiety and stress that I'd never experienced before because it feels like a death sentence. Right? There's a ticking time bomb inside my body that any moment is just going to decide, boom, I'm out. And here you go. And though I'm not particularly afraid of death because I know what's on the other side, or at least I think I know what's on the other side, at least I'm comfortable with my thoughts about what's on the other side, I'm not ready to go yet. I have a 12-year-old daughter. I have an incredible wife. I have um, a radio show podcast that is just starting to blossom. We've got bigger plans for it, right? I'm on a mission here. There's a reason why I'm here, and I don't think I've completed that yet. So that thought that I would leave without it completing was not something that I was comfortable with. So for a year and a half, I've been very, very stressed. The anxiety is through the roof. And when we met, it was probably 2 weeks before my follow-up biopsy, and they had just
2 days.
2 days before. Even okay, there you go. They had done an MRI before, and they had found another area, another lesion on the other side that they were concerned with. So I was really nervous that meant that it had spread.
Yeah.
Yes. That is when we met, and then 2 days later, that's what happened. I don't know how far you want me to go beyond that, but that's
Well, yeah. So that's
way
preceding the session. During the session, how did you feel?
I didn't know what to expect. I had never heard of this stuff before. So, I mean, I'd heard about kinesiology and muscle testing, things like that, but I didn't know much about it. I was very interested, very curious. I saw the movie Healed and all that kind of stuff, and you see the muscle testing stuff, but there's always someone, you're always in person. They're doing stuff, they're manipulating your arm or whatever. So I didn't know how this was going to work across Zoom. So I didn't know what to expect. But I found that what you do is so much more than just, let me move your arm down, but you actually bring into accounting your emotional state and things that might have contributed to some of these things that are affecting me at that point in time. And we specifically talked, and you did it so great because you kind of just when I thought I was at the crux of it, you found a way to get further down until suddenly it was like, oh, I see where that happens. And we talked about the fact that sometimes energies, certain thought forms, can become toxic. And something that happened right as COVID started hitting, right, something that I went through caused a severe anxious moment that I've carried with me since then. Moment, I shouldn't say moment. It was a good while, but anyway. So that's during our session. That was what we discovered was probably the source of potentially what might have caused or contributed to the development of the cancer. And the way that you did it was, it's a very clever way. It's an intuitive way because it's just like yes or no, and it was very clearly yes, this is the source of the thing through my body muscle testing, right? And then when we worked to clear that, the immediate feeling first, I'll talk about that first. The immediate feeling was almost like a deflated balloon where there's this anxiety, and then we worked on it. And very simply, in a very short amount of time, brought the anxiety down to almost a zero. This feeling of, oh, like that's not there anymore kind of thing was surprising. Something I've been carrying around for 3 years suddenly was not anything that I could define or find inside myself that was very strong anymore. Like I really felt like a deflated balloon. It was like that's the only image that comes to mind. Subsequent conversations, excuse me, that we had in that space helped me to understand that what had happened, like that reduction of energies. And before we had talked about, you had mentioned that you believe that when you stop feeding these energies, the energies can't survive. So my goal at that point when we were in the session was to starve out this energy that was inside of me, starve it out. And I kept doing it over the course of those several days before my biopsy. And it felt, internally, I told you I wanted to feel something. I left our session feeling weird, like that anxiety, that heaviness I was carrying felt a lot lighter, right? Whether it was in my head, like the placebo effect, or an actual thing, I don't know. Remember, the pragmatic in me is coming out.
Yep.
But I definitely felt that something was different, that the balloon had been deflated.
And how do you feel after the session?
So I'm still using the tools you gave me during the session. And I thank you very much for providing those, because those are a huge help. And anytime that I'm finding anything that's charging, I will go into a meditation and I will visualize the whiteboard and the dial, and I'll physically move it. I'm not giving anything away, but yeah, the tools you gave were great. I'm still using them. They're very simple to use, very intuitive. And then probably the best thing, my biopsy, when I got my results, and I was literally shaking because, remember, they thought something had happened because now there's 2 spots, not just one. So I was expecting the worst. And I opened it up, and I read it like 12 times, and I couldn't register what it was saying. So I grabbed my laptop and took it to another room my wife was at, and I was asking her, can you please read this and tell me if you're seeing the same thing that I am? They took 13 cores, right? 13 biopsies of the prostate, and every single one came back, one after another, benign, 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 which was a little unexpected, to say the least. Now, I can't say that what you did was responsible
What we did.
for
Yep.
what we did was responsible for the miraculous disappearance of a very concerning spot. But I can only tell you what I felt after our session, and intuitively what we talked about the energy, starving the energy of this, that thing can't survive. And I can't help but think that at the very least, this very seriously contributed to some sort of change inside me. So now I can celebrate the fact that I am indeed a cancer survivor. And in fact, I just went to a doctor last week because I need to hear from a doctor straight from the face. And I asked, it's not there. Where is it? Where did it go? How could it possibly have gone? And the doctor just looked at me and said, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to say that you cured me.
No.
Right? Because that's irresponsible.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what, the thing is gone, and I can't explain it. My doctor can't explain it either. So, intuitively, I kind of have an idea. A lot of it came from removing the energies from that thing, and it's no longer there. So, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And these tools, I firmly believe it's nothing. It's like me giving you a pencil and you writing a letter. It wasn't anything that I did. Maybe the tools, I think the tools are, and I've had experience, like I shared on your show, I had hidradenitis, and they don't know what it is. And they think it is connected to cancer. And I did the tools, pulled the energy out of it, and it went away. And it was immediate.
Yeah, exactly. This was it was 2 days before my biopsy.
Yes.
2 days. So somehow, if indeed this is responsible, they worked in 2 days. So,
yeah. And these are tools that you have now for the rest of your life. Like, I know that they can't say to you, they can't say the cancer will never come back.
Right. Yeah. This country is too litigious for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you do have these tools for the rest of your life too.
And I will say, I don't think you should discount yourself, because yes, you gave me the pencil and I wrote the letter. However, what I tell my team all the time, they don't pay me to press the buttons at work. They pay me to know what buttons to press, right? You knew what buttons to press. So give yourself some credit.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what now? What is going forward, and how crazy was it of this person you don't know to come to you and say, hey, let's do this crazy weird session? Like, why were you I know that you do a podcast and you're open to these tools. So I want to thank you for, opening yourself up to being available and to listen to me and try these tools and implement the tools.
Yeah, are you kidding? Part of the reason why I'm doing this show is so I can experience these cool things, right? So yes, this was a change. You came to me with the idea, whereas usually it's me saying, "Hey, how about if we?" Most of the time, to go, "No, it's too difficult. No, I cannot in the right headspace or whatever." Sometimes, like the harmonic egg, I said, "Yeah, come on in." So we actually went, and we experienced a harmonic egg. You came to us with this idea, and it makes perfect sense. So the cool thing, okay, so I work in television, right? One of the reasons why I love working in television is because you get some pretty cool perks. You get to meet cool people, you get to do great things. I'm going to Hawaii in May because of it, right? So there's different
Wow.
things. So this show helps me to meet amazing people. That's been the best thing, right? Is the people that you meet, the community that you build with people who are like-minded in this space. But then the cool tools that they have, they help you to experience, allow you to experience for yourself. You go, what the heck? This is amazing. Some of them you go, eh, but some of them you go, wow, right? And the fun thing is that Karen and I are very different. So the things that I go, wow, about, sometimes she goes, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it just illustrates the fact that not every path is for everybody, but wow, when you find something that works for you, it really works.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much. Do you have any closing um, tidbits, thoughts, parting gifts
Yeah,
for anyone watching or listening?
I think this might be a good 1-2 punch, Karen and I, because uh, we talked about it on the show. Karen did not have quite the success that I had on her session. And I think it's mostly because she's in her own mind. I was much more motivated
Yeah, you were
to
ready. You're like, let's shift
yes,
this. Yeah.
yes. So I had no qualms. I had no filter. I was on board 100%. Where she was, we swapped, right? She was the pragmatic one at that point. So I think she might have blocked herself from doing a few things. But my parting words is, um, don't discount anything. Don't discount it. If it sounds hokey to you or weird, it might be, but it might be exactly what you're looking for, right? It's not. If you go into it closed or expecting it to not be something that works, that's exactly what's going to happen, right? We talked about it all the time. We create our own reality. So if this thing is a bunch of bull for you, you are 100% right. It is a bunch of bull for you, and you're missing out on a lot of stuff. So go into it with an open mind and accept whatever happens. It might be great, it might not be, but what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
And it was fantastic.
So glad. Well, thank you so much for your time and sharing your experience. And
Thanks.
please, everybody watching this or listening to this, please go over to theskepticmetaphysicians.com. Please go to YouTube and watch some videos of the Skeptic Metaphysicians. They're so good. You're so good at, you guys both. Like I told you, there was one podcast episode on YouTube that I watched, and it was like I was sitting there, could have gotten popcorn. Like I thought I was at a dinner, watching a dinner party or watching people talk at a dinner party. It was just
Right.
so comfortable and just, it was a great,
Hey,
you guys are good.
that's our goal. We want it to feel like you're just listening in a conversation with some people that are really curious about each other. Right?
Yes.
We have fun. We like to laugh a lot. We don't take ourselves very seriously because life is way too serious to be taken seriously. And Karen, when you hear Karen laugh, it's going to make you laugh. Her laugh is infectious. And she's so funny. Oh my gosh, she makes me laugh so hard. And I make great jokes. She calls them dad jokes, but they're not. They're good jokes. I don't understand what she's talking about, but I'll let you guys be the judge for
You guys be
yourselves.
the judge. What is a dad joke or, a good, solid, healthy, I don't know what the opposite of a dad joke would be.
Well, and if a joke makes you groan, then it's a dad joke. If a
Mm,
joke makes you laugh, it's a good one. So I laugh at all my jokes. Right? They can't be dad jokes.
of
I don't
course.
see people groan just because they just want to groan. They're whatever, but they know it's funny. They
Well,
do.
you guys head over to YouTube, or I think you can make comments on the any podcast page.
Yeah, you can leave a comment on our skepticmetaphysician.com. We have the videos there as well. Uh,
Yes.
you can leave us reviews on the site. You can go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the show there. You could leave us a voicemail on our website. You can send them an email. It's
Oh,
all right there.
wow. So go judge and let Will know whether or not you're on Karen's side and think that Will's humor is dad humor, or if it's good solid, it's a good solid. You have
Definitely.
belly laughs as you're watching.
Yes. Make sure that you remember who told you to go to the site to just, vote accordingly.
That's right. And watch out for sometime soon. We're almost in March 2023, so watch out. By the time you're listening to this, possibly the episode where Will and Karen talk to me and we talk about kinetic divination and shifting energy and releasing stuff that could be up by the time you listen or watch this.
Coming out soon, yeah. So get ready.
Coming to your cell phone, laptop, computer soon. Thank you so much. I know that you're busy, so I'll keep this relatively short. We could talk and talk, but I thank you so much. And please, please, guys, when you're finished this, please comment below. Go to skepticmetaphysicians.com, and I'll see you next time. Go create like you mean it.